What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? Welcome to your quickie. It's Judgment Day of Week 18, and tomorrow, for some of you, playoffs start. Exciting times ahead. My name is JJT with Komish Eric. Do you have playoffs tomorrow?
No, not yet.
No bye? No.
No, all my playoffs are I think week 20 and 21. So no playoffs yet at 19. Yeah.
All right. So I have one, but I got a bye there. So let's see. We'll just be closely watching the waiver wires and the free agent pool. Let's talk about some news. Michael Porter Jr. Well, the biggest question, I guess, is can he still make it through any of the fantasy playoffs week? I think sometime March, he is expected to return.
Sometime March, I think he will make it. He will if it's mid-March, that's probably week 21. I think 21, probably week 21 will be the return date of MPJ.
Yeah, and but is he worth stashing? Do you think he's worth stashing?
I always say nothing to lose to stash him if you have an IL spot. So, I mean, if you're not stashing anybody in your IL position, then you're doing something wrong, right? It's a free position. So you should stash him if you have an open spot.
How about Dame, who is set to be reevaluated in 2-3 weeks? That's pretty much the same timeline, I guess, with MPJ. In case everything goes well, still a stash. Because I've seen lots of Dame on the free agent. I guess everyone's expecting him not to play anymore.
Yeah, I expect him not to play. I am actually gonna drop him in one of our leagues because I've been keeping him for so long, but with OG injured, I have Campaign in the other IL spot. Of course, you'll say, why would you keep Campaign over Lillard? But I just think that Payne would help me more at this point than Lillard. 2 to 3 weeks evaluation would put Lillard, I think, at week 21 to 22. That's an evaluation point. That is not the return date. I don't think after being evaluated, he will be cleared right away. They would, of course, let him practice.
After evaluation, they will just tell you he's gonna sit out for the last 2 weeks of the next 2 weeks, right? That's the news that you'll probably get or hear.
I think he can. There is a chance. I can see a chance that he comes back for 2 to 3 games, maybe this season, just to give him a little court time to see that he's healthy and everything. But I really don't see him as gonna be any game-changing player in fantasy anymore. Maybe it could be used for a game or two like that, but so there's no point. There's no point in stashing for me.
Yeah. So MPJ, better stash is MPJ at this point.
If it's just between the two of them, maybe MPJ, because I can see MPJ play every game with minutes restriction. Maybe 18 minutes, 15, 18, and then 20, up to 20 maybe. So at least he's playing. I mean, Lillard, I really have a hard time seeing Lillard play at all. So
yeah, I think the reason. That's the reason why everyone's not really high on Lillard at this point.
Yeah, and I it's not about Lillard or MPJ. I believe if they're gonna be given the go signal just to play, Lillard is gonna be ready right away. I believe Lillard, give him 1 or 2 weeks, he could be ready to play. If Portland was number 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe wherever contending, he could play already in 2 weeks. But I just don't think the Blazers are gonna allow him to play. Now there's another injury there, Justice Winslow, the sore Achilles. He didn't play today. Winslow is not young, so people might be saying they will play him because they're developing him. They're not developing him. He's a kind of a veteran already, a young vet. In other words, so if this is a real injury, he could go the Nurkic way. He might be,
he might be out for
shut down.
Weeks.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Achilles, though, the injury he has is quite similar to the one that Malcolm Brogdon just returned from, right? Sore Achilles as well. So it
Yes.
took what, 3-4 weeks before Brogdon was able to come back, even more because he wasn't really playing before that. So yeah, could be.
But
At least Winslow is a lower end guy. You won't have a hard time dropping Winslow for someone hotter.
But that's very general. That's very vague. Sore Achilles is general and a vague statement. So I would not say that it's a similar injury. And I'm not dropping Winslow. I have Winslow. I'm not dropping him yet. But I'll give him probably 2 more games. If he misses that game and the next game and we'll get more clarity, I will not be hesitating to drop him, as you said. That's just how Portland is right now. The situation of Portland is really bad at this point.
Aside from campaign, do you have a stash guy that you feel is worthy of that IL slot? Ben Simmons probably is there.
Yeah, Ben Simmons definitely is a top stash. Campaign is another one. Who are the injured guys? Miles Turner, I think, is worth it. Are you there? Yeah. Miles Turner, Draymond Green. I still feel like Draymond Green is a worthy stash because there's still a chance, more than 50% chance he comes back with 20 maybe or 21 just in time. And he's a game-changing player. So yeah, those Derrick Rose actually is also not bad stash. If it's really just a skin infection, just 1 or 2 weeks, then yeah, you can also stash Derrick Rose. Jamal Murray is not. Victor Oladipo, I'm sorry, I really just, unless this Kyle Lowry, another thing that I didn't write about Kyle Lowry, unless this personal thing is it's gonna be weeks again, like the last time out, then maybe Oladipo will be useful, but let's see. It's very very up in the air with Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, another injury that's worrying is Josh Giddy, who is going to be out again tomorrow. Well, you probably won't drop him, but yeah, it's something to monitor and watch how the situation goes.
Yeah, he's the next guy in my team. The next in the list.
Next in line in the emergency room.
I this is what I did just to give you some update. When I was stashing AD and Draymond, I dropped CP3 because there's 2 IL spots. So I dropped CP3. Now that Giddy is injured, I can't drop AD. I can't stash AD. I have to stash Giddy and then drop AD. That's what I do. I mean, I would have stashed AD anyways, but even if it's 4 to 5 weeks, even if it's slim chance. But now that this happened, Giddy, they said, will be out for longer, maybe longer than tomorrow. So I'm assuming he's gonna be out for couple more games. So I have to drop AD and then stash Giddy. I also dropped Gordon Hayward there. I'm hoping Fred VanVleet doesn't follow in the list because then I would have to drop Draymond maybe. I don't know what to do next after that.
So AD, for example, is he a better stash? Or would you rather stash him or Michael Porter Jr.?
Michael Porter, because I don't believe AD will come back. They said 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's 23, 24. What's the point?
Because I don't see any AD on the waiver wire. I think everyone's stashing. I have 14, 15 leagues. No AD, no signs of AD. I have 2 AD stocks. I haven't dropped him just because, if I drop, I don't have other players injured. So what I'm trying to do is waiting for that situation where another one is out, and then I can just switch them up and then add another injured player. But I can't see any AD on the waiver wire, so I'm assuming everyone's really stashing AD at this point.
My leagues also, there's no AD. I'm the first one to drop in all the leagues that I'm in. First one to drop AD.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming it's because, as you said, you don't have anybody in the IL. There's no harm in just putting him there, which was what I was gonna do anyways if my team was lucky enough, which it wasn't. Yeah. So if they want to pick him up, then go be my guest, pick him up, put him in your ILs. But I really don't think he's gonna be. And remember, when the playoffs come, whoever picks up AD, just one team. The playoffs from 8 becomes 4, becomes 2.
Yeah.
You won't even care about the 11 other or 13 other teams anymore. You will just be caring about less and less teams. So let them get AD
and let them worry about AD and have a problem about AD. All right, let's talk about some buy players for today. Some good performances. Kelly Olynyk had the best performance of his since weeks or months already.
Yeah, we called that Kelly Olynyk. We said about the Bagley injury might be a window of opportunity for him because he's been
But
struggling.
Is this sustainable? I just don't see it as something sustainable. Personally, I don't.
I don't know. It depends. If Bagley is out, I'm gonna be more confident that he can sustain this even off the bench. But if Bagley is gonna be back the next game, then he's back to 16, 17 minutes. Might not be sustainable. But as I said about Olynyk, he's a very streaky player. He can string together 3 or 4 good games. So if it's your playoff week, those 3 or 4 good games might coincide with your playoff week, which is gonna be what's important anyway.
Yeah.
So if he's there, I'll add him. If he's there, I'll definitely add him.
You know what's the advantage of having lots of leagues as well? You get the feel of how managers think about a certain player, right? Like Olynyk, no one's really picking him up. So I would get a sense that he's not the type of player that everyone's going to be rushing in to pick. So I have time to wait and see what happens. And the same thing with what I was asking about AD. No one's really dropping him. That's why it's also psychologically affecting me in the sense that I'm not dropping my AD as well because I can't see anyone dropping. Why is everyone stashing him, making me second guess myself?
Well, in your case, you have 18 leagues. There's a lot of Olynyks. In my case, I have fewer leagues, but there's no Olynyk available.
Really?
So it's
in 8 leagues.
Yeah. In 8 leagues, there's one maybe, but he was picked up. I think there's 1 or 2 a while ago, but they were picked up. So before he exploded today, there were 6 out of the 8 he was rostered. So I guess it's different leagues, different
leagues,
situations.
You can also see different leagues how conservative and aggressive they are. There are some leagues wherein the free agent pool are really generous. Like there are certain players you don't expect to see in the waiver wire who are there.
That's true. That's true.
And no one's picking them up. So some teams are quite conservative when they add players.
In my Unbox league, as the league that I said that I have a lot of injuries and everything, I'm quite optimistic that there will be players in the FA. I was able to pick up Treyman, by the way, in the Giddy injury. Yeah. He's the guy to pick up. I was able to pick him up, so I'm happy about that. I hope he continues to play well. And he's gonna be my lifeline, I hope.
And if you have lots of injured players like Commish does, it helps to be fast in the waiver or the free agent pool.
Yeah.
And it's good that's a 12-team league. It's harder as you go deeper into the different leagues. Let's talk about Hartenstein for a bit since we're talking about Olynyk. I think they're pretty much on the same boat. Very helpful if they're given minutes. The question is, will they be given minutes? Today, Hartenstein had 10 points in 6 minutes and 2 blocks. The He are crazy, but he didn't play much in the second half because Zubac played really well.
He played 10 minutes today. He only played 10 minutes. Zubac was my feel good today, and I was just comparing them. I said Zubac, you just don't know what you'll get with Zubac. He'll have 4 points, 5 rebounds, and he'll have today 14 points, 15 rebounds, 6 blocks. So it's matchup based also. They were against the Rockets today, and people could see this coming. Overall, though, I think Hartenstein will have value. He's like a Sengun. He will have value. He already has value right now, even off the bench.
Yeah.
If you don't mind the free throws, he's maybe top 140, top 150 already with the steals, the blocks, the rebounds at this point. So you have to add him because on games where Zubac doesn't play well, and there are a lot of games Zubac doesn't play well, Hartenstein can play better.
Actually, Hartenstein has been playing well over the past 3-4 games.
Yeah. Yes.
Solid. I think if this was the playoffs, he'd be rostered more because the stats he give, the stocks, we like the stocks during the playoffs, right? And the field goal and the scoring are solid enough. But yeah, but is he
ever since Ibaka got traded, he's been playing well as the main backup.
But would you rather have him than Olynyk at this point?
Yes. I'm more confident in Hartenstein than Olynyk. Olynyk, as you said, there's Bagley. It's still Bagley for me. I mean, if it's just Olynyk and Isaiah Stewart, I mean, he could get 20-25 minutes. They could timeshare and everything. But if there's three players, playing, it's just tougher. It's just harder. It won't be consistent. It won't be consistent.
Yeah, another center is a by player, Jackson Haze, who started again. So let's talk about we're running up the sum of the centers and trying to compare them. You like Haze more than the other guys we talked about?
You asked me about Haze and Dwight Howard just a couple of days ago, and Dwight is in my buy list again today. So both of them are again there.
So you're still more confident in Dwight or Haze?
No, I said Haze.
We both said Haze, I think.
And I'm still Haze. Dwight today, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks, 6 points. Not bad. I think he can continue to do that. And I mean, just the rebounds and blocks. The points, maybe not, but the rebounds, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1 or 2 blocks, always consistent. That's good. But Haze has more upside, and he can also do what Dwight is doing. He can score more. The rebounds, maybe he loses a little bit to Dwight, a little bit, but he can get steals, he can get blocks, and he has more minutes, I think, and he's younger. So
he's got more scoring and pretty much a lot more going on. The rebounds, though, he's got a lot of people sharing the rebounds with Valanciunas, Ingram, those guys. So but solid. The field goal is good as well. I mean, he's not hurting you.
Just for further information, I'm Haze over Hartenstein also. Haze over Olynyk. But if you're asking me Dwight or Olynyk, I think that would be dependent on what you need. If you need the blocks and rebounds because your team is built that way, that's a big help. I mean, Dwight could be a big help if he gets 10 rebounds and 1 or 2 blocks a game.
Yeah. If you need assists, if you need assists and pretty much
3-pointers,
steals, threes, you'll go for Olynyk.
Yes.
Or maybe some scoring as well. But again, it's going to be inconsistent, but keep a close eye on him because we don't know what's the Bagley situation. They might rest him a bit, or he might miss a few games. So we'll see. He could have some great value as the playoffs start. Who else are here? Hamidou Diallo, we've been talking about him. 3 steals again today. I've seen him in a lot of leagues as well, available still. The stocks, again, I love stocks when it comes to the playoffs. We've been talking about that just because it's hard to get them. And if a player can consistently have 2 or 3 stocks a game, that's going to be really helpful.
I think we can compare Diallo to Thybulle at this point. Thybulle is in my buy list there. Just to, piece them together. Thybulle has been playing well with Harden. And again, we saw this. We predicted this. Thybulle is a perfect Harden teammate. He will defend, he will rebound, he will steal, he will be just there. He doesn't need the ball. Just let James isolate and everything, and he can do everything else on the defensive side. So I like Thybulle. I know there's a lot of Thybulles available, and I know tomorrow or the next game he might suddenly become 2 points and 2 rebounds. I know that, but it's playoff time, as we said. At this point, there shouldn't be Thybulles available in your league if it's playoff time. You can.
In case this is the first time you're listening, we're high on Thybulle, especially on the playoffs, just because we're high on stocks during the playoffs. It's just because if you are a bit of an underdog in the other categories, at least the stocks is something that you can work on. You can get from the waiver wire. Not a difficult one to find with the blocks and the steals. Like we have Dwight Howard there. We have Hartenstein there. We have these guys who can blocks, and we have got steals guys like Diallo, Taibul, those guys. And those guys are readily available. If you're looking for scoring, that's much harder to get in the waiver wire, or rebounding. That's not as easy to get. And assist, much more the assist. That's not easy to get. So if you are an underdog, you look for those stocks.
They have to be careful though with the percentages of these players that they usually give stocks. Mason Plumlee is another one who can usually get rebounds and then some steals or one or block assists out of position stats. But like Plumlee was 1 out of 7 today, free throw wise. Hartenstein, I don't know what is 1 out of something, but he's really bad in free throws also. That adds up. So you have to be careful. But we will give you that warning that you have to be careful. But guys like Taibo, who doesn't score a lot, doesn't take a lot of attempts.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's not really a player who can takes a lot. That's why I also like players like Javonte Green, who's had good stocks numbers and doesn't hurt you. Good free throw shooter. Just contribute, just to prepare you for the playoffs, just in case your playoffs is this week, or you can add them later on this week just to prepare for your playoffs next on week 20. You can do those. Who else are buy players? Terrence Mann is another guy playing well. He is not available, unfortunately, in most of the leagues.
He shouldn't be.
Dinwiddie might be available.
Yeah,
played well. I don't think it's sustainable though, but do you think it's sustainable?
I've been burned. I dropped him actually in our league. I picked him up. I dropped him. Somebody picked him up now. It's a new team. That's why I think there's a chance. It's not the same Washington team. It's Dallas. He started slow, but he's getting. I watched the game. They played him with Brunson and Doncic a lot of times, and he seems like he knows his role with Doncic. I see that he doesn't have any hesitation where to go, where to move, who takes the lead in the ball handling. He has adjusted pretty well. So there's a chance, but he's never been a good fantasy player. But if you're able to pick him up off the waiver wire, I'll pick him up. I picked him up in our Champions League, I think. If it's Champions or Invitationals. I think Invitationals. I think I picked him up in our Invitationals. And it's worth a shot. I dropped Raul Neto just for their information. So
not a hard drop. Not a hard drop.
And just to see where the rankings are. I would pick Dinwiddie over Neto any time of the day.
Jay Crowder. Well, Jay Crowder's not available in a lot of leagues, but there could be some leagues where he was dropped. Is another buy player, as Dennis Schroeder, who had another great game today without KPJ. That is something you want to monitor as well, the KPJ situation, I guess, because he has been very injury prone, and I don't know when the buyout ends.
Tomorrow.
Right,
so until tonight, if he doesn't get bought out, he'll stay with Houston. Yeah. And again, as I said, fantasy is timing. I mean, if Schroeder was floating in waiver wires for a long time. I mean,
even until yesterday.
Yes. If you pick him up, it's your playoffs now, and then KPJ misses the whole week. Yeah. Man, you're gonna have a great
He
fantasy.
nearly had a triple-double today.
Yeah, fantasy asset there in Schroeder. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. So it's timing also. Jay Crowder is not owned in a lot of leagues, but in all our leagues, in your league and in my league, he's already owned. But he's only owned in 30-something% of the leagues, and I think it should be higher. He's top 100 this year, but people are underrating him because he's not always been consistent. But as I wrote there, I think he has 8 threes and 7 steals the past 3 games. So, I mean, where can you find that?
Right? He is Phoenix's utility guy. He is in the same boat as maybe the Royce O'Neals, the Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, better 3-point shooter. And more, probably a little more consistent than maybe Royce or Dorian. Although I think I put Dorian a little bit higher. Just because he can be, good as well from time in a lot
they're
of
close. They're close. Dorian and Jay is cool. But my point is, like, KCP, people are been asking about KCP more than Jay Crowder. I also don't see KCP much in my leagues, but if you have a choice there, I would rather have Jay Crowder than KCP.
All right. So let's talk about some worthy players. We talked about Josh Hart and Anthony Simons a little bit in the past quickies. These guys are worthy players just because Portland is tanking, and these are their go-to guys. They've been struggling today. We were Josh Hart did play as well.
Yeah, actually, they would say, why will they be worried if they're the only two players that will perform? The past two games, how much have they lost? Today, 20 something. Yesterday, 30 something. So if it's gonna be like this all the time, how many minutes will they play? I mean, it's gonna be garbage time most of the game for them, especially for Josh. I mean, Anthony Simons has slowed down a lot because of the blowouts. But Josh Hart slowed down even more because they would play Simons. At least Simons will get 25 to 28, maybe 30 minutes at most if it's a blowout. But Hart, I don't know how many minutes they'll play him. And we haven't even dealt with his usual sore knee, this, or that, Josh Hart will always have. Now that he's in a tanking team, what makes you think he's going to play all the games remaining?
If you can flip Josh Hart for someone who's been struggling as well. We talked about Desmond Bane as someone who's been struggling. There are a lot of players who are struggling. If you can flip them and convince the other manager that this is Josh Hart's team right now.
If you can do that, I would love that. Josh Hart really is on thin ice, I would say. They started CJ Ellaby, they started Keon Johnson, they started Drew Eubanks. That's all you need to know about Portland right now. They started those three guys. So we don't even...
And who among those guys do you really know? No one, right?
No one. I know Keon. And actually Keon,
Keon because you're a big fan. You've been watching even college, right? I mean, not everyone, the casual fans wouldn't know them.
I watched this Portland game today only to see if Keon can be an ad because he was started. This is his first game in Portland and he started. So I said, maybe this is it. Maybe not. So some more time. Let's give it time because sometimes for rookies, it takes time, but watch out for Keon. If he has an opportunity here. He has a chance. If Josh Hart gets shut down, it's all him. It's going to be all about Keon Johnson.
We're not telling you to drop your Josh Hart. If you can flip him to a better player, he's still going, as long as he's playing, he's still going to be fantasy relevant. We're not telling you to drop Josh Hart for Keon.
No.
Or LDB or whoever in the Portland side, but if you can
ride Josh Hart until the end.
Wheels fall off, like you said.
Whenever the end is, we don't know whenever the end is. Just ride him until he stays. He's still playing.
And try to flip him. You might have a few more days before your trade deadline. Other worry players, Russell Westbrook. Are we still gonna talk about Russell Westbrook?
He was 7 turnovers, I think. 6-7 turnovers. He hasn't found the extra, step with AD out. LeBron, there's rumors that his knee is really in bad shape. There's rumors that his knee is in bad shape. And a while ago, they said, the lift is not there. He was forced to just take outside shots. Something to monitor if they keep on losing. Because if they keep on losing and there's nothing else really to do about it, maybe they rest LeBron. Then maybe Westbrook gets his chance to be the solo guy.
The Lakers are slowly getting to that point where they might get into the Portland zone already. they're slowly, sadly. They are slowly getting there. And remember, if LeBron doesn't play, they're pretty much in that zone, right? If LeBron doesn't play, who do they have? Westbrook, Carmelo. These are old guys that are, I'm not sure what can they do at this point.
Carmelo is an ad. I told you. Carmelo is an ad.
Yeah. Carmelo's an ad. So Carmelo and just ride him until they decide not to play anymore. Right?
So they will play Carmelo. And as long as he's healthy, they will play Carmelo. And Carmelo will play. This might be his last season. He's gonna play. Believe me, he's gonna play.
Other worthy players, Jordan Poole. If you didn't watch it, epic collapse by the Golden State Warriors today.
I have a question for you. What do you think? What's the logic of Clay not playing and then starting Moses Moody and putting Jordan Poole still off the bench and playing him 19 minutes while Moody plays 25? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I don't even. I watched part of the game when it was close, and
Uh,
Poole wasn't even there, and they can't shoot.
yeah.
They double team Steph Curry, and no one else can play. I mean, no one else can make a bucket, even Andrew Wiggins. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're not playing Poole as much. They should
I
be
would
playing us more.
I would get it if Clay is playing, but Clay is out. So what's the point of not using Poole? I just okay, whatever.
Steve Kerr, he might be preparing for the playoffs. They've got some young guys there. They're not.
Okay.
They're not. They're not a team who are worried about not making the playoffs. They're there. They're top 3, top 2. So might as well use this time to, develop some of my young guys. I guess that's the logic there.
And if that is the logic, that makes me really sad because Kuminga got 17 minutes today. He had 2 steals, 1 block. He still was there. He still should be owned, still be rostered. But, I hope if they're going to do this, they give Kuminga more. Like the usual 25, 28 he was getting. As I said, when he was getting that number of minutes, that's definitely going to go down because that's just how it is. Even if he's playing well, they would suddenly put his minutes down to 15, 14, 13. And people will drop him. Then you'll wait until he goes back to 25, 28, and you add him.
Well, I'm not gonna complain because I had 2 opponents who had Kuminga, and I'm just happy he didn't play much. So
Yeah.
I won't complain about Kuminga's minutes. Who else are on the list? Well, there's a lot on the list.
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson is on the list. The addition of Dinwiddie might be affecting him. So
and also Kleber, the entry of Davis Bertans and also Dinwiddie, they've played small. Played small. As I said, you have to watch games so you'll see what's happening, the trends. They played small with DFS at 4. That gives them Powell, sometimes Bertans, sometimes Kleber at the 5.
It could be a matchup It could be a matchup thing though. Because Golden State, and Golden State only had Looney.
Yes, possibly. But the last game also, Kleber was not.
The last game, Kleber was 1 out of 7, I think. If not for the stocks, he wouldn't. I dropped my Kleber already. It was a 12 team, so yeah.
I wouldn't be against that, especially in shallow leagues. If this is what's happening, he's not, just not getting the minutes. He's not getting the minutes, and aside from him, Tobias, I think we could just mention him.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been commenting on our post about Tobias, and you ride with him. I agree with people who say that you have to ride with him. There's no point. There's no choice. You cannot drop him. So, and you're gonna trade him at this point. What will you get for him at this point? Well, Josh Hart. Maybe you can get Josh Hart.
I was just about to say. Try Josh Hart. Try getting Tobias for Josh Hart.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, right.
You just make a deal here.
And pitch the idea that this is Josh Hart's team, and Tobias is what, number 3.
Number 4.
Who's the third one?
Maxi.
So Maxi, you just throw the idea that Maxi's leapfrogged Tobias in the offensive list, right? So well, let me get back to Kleber. Kleber, we've talked about a lot of these centers. I know we're looking to comparing centers. The other centers better than Kleber at this point?
Yes.
Hartenstein, Olynyk.
I think so.
I dropped Kleber for, I think it was Jalen Smith. So
Kleber at this point is steals, as we said, blocks, not steals. But he can have some steals, blocks and threes. And we already have a lot of these players that we just mentioned. They're all as good and give you stat sets like Howard, Dwight. Has been getting minutes. Playoff time is about the minutes. Let's just put it that way. It's not about who's better in fantasy anymore because this is, more games, more chances to win. This is head to head. It's just as simple as that. Head-to-head is as simple as that. Just get players
More
out
minutes,
there who
more
will play.
opportunities to rack up those stats.
Yes.
That's
Unless
what we're-
your player is Jokic and he plays 20 minutes, yeah, I'll choose Jokic at 20 minutes. But normal players, whoever gets more minutes, usually that's the player you want to own. So if Kleber is getting this less minutes, no, I'll go with the other players.
Yeah. And finally, feel good player. Let's talk about the new duo.
EmBeard.
Duo. Yeah, EmBeard. Embiid and James Harden. Another great 27 free throw attempts. 27.
I can see your smile already from afar.
Because I have Harden. I actually
yeah,
have Harden.
I know you have Harden. That's why I know you're very, very satisfied with what Harden is doing at this point.
Yeah, of course. And I've got lots of leagues wherein I was really going down because Harden wasn't even playing. So now he's back. So my hopes are lifted.
And I've told you, watch the history of Harden, study it. When he gets traded, he explodes. There's the honeymoon period is so good.
So do you
Harden.
think this will last until the end of fantasy season?
Yes, it will last.
That's the question because
if they are healthy, both this will last. Harden will play this way until
and they should be winning, right?
They will win. If you watch them, the fit is very good. The Embiid, Harden, as long as they don't fight and get irritated with each other, the Sixers are looking good. They're looking good in real life and in fantasy. Well, the two of them in fantasy look good. The others, sorry. I mean, if you own the other Sixers.
So now, would you rather have any of these guys over Steph?
Who?
Steph Curry.
We're talking about Kleber and the other guys. I mean, Steph is in my feel good.
Okay, in fairness to Steph has had good assist numbers the past few games. Okay, today he was not good scoring wise, but this is what I'm saying. As long as he gives you 10, 11, 12 assists per game, I won't complain. Right?
Yeah.
Even if today he scored, I think 22 points.
22, 5, and 10 assists, I think, or 4 and 10
And
assists.
then the last game,
couple of steals.
Game, he didn't score as much, but had 14 assists, I think.
Yeah, but that was a blowout. That was
but still, 14 assists. I'd take that. Right? That's the complaint I had early this season with Steph. If he doesn't give you 10, 11 assists, it's annoying. But, I won't complain now because he gave me 10 assists. And even if he got 22 points only.
I think I'll put it this way. Steph can get those assists if teams defend him in a certain way, like Dallas defended today. Trapping him,
but I watched the second half.
Double teaming.
I watched the second half, the one wherein they came back and really blown out the Warriors. He just couldn't get the ball, and that's the problem with the Warriors at this point. Without Draymond,
yes,
they just trapped him. Once he gets the ball, they double team him, and that's gonna be worrying for Steph owners because if every team does that, he won't rack up those assists, won't rack up those scores, those points.
Of course, people will say, of course, there's no 29 teams that can do that. I will agree. But if he plays a weak team, the worry there is they're going to blow them out and then he's not going to play. Or if it's a weak team, he's just going to rest. So, overall, if you're asking me, do I prefer Steph over Embiid and Harden? I will tell you, are you crazy? Of course not. I mean, at this point, you should be asking maybe Steph and Ja, Steph and Trey. I mean, those are the levels. That low for me. Especially come
Steph or Luka.
I would even go Luka at this point. As I said, it's not about who's a better fan. I know Steph is ranked way higher than Luka. I know Luka is ranked outside of the top 30, 40 right now. But come playoff time, it's about who will play. And it's about just stats. And I know Steph has a lot of back-to-backs coming up. And I'm not even sure he's going to play in those. And it's playoff time. So what if they have 4 games, he misses 1 or 2 of those for rest? Who would you rather
Yeah.
have? Luka
Yeah.
at 4 games or Steph at so it's just something like that. I think Steph is a first rounder. Still a first round. Of course, he's a first rounder.
He is.
But Dejounte is a first rounder. Who would you rather have, Dejounte or
Dejounte.
Steph?
I've been trying to get
Exactly.
Dejounte for my Steph. I wouldn't even mind a one-on-one deal. Although,
Yes,
of course, I'll try a
yes.
1-for-2 deal
Yes.
but yeah, I wouldn't mind a 1-for-1 deal for Steph and Dejounte.
I think
Just
you would
because-
rather have Trey than Steph also. Am I correct?
That's closer.
Look
That's
at the
closer.
schedule. Look at the playoff schedule. I'm not sure what playoffs you guys have, but look at the playoff schedule. If Atlanta has the better one in your setup,
Yeah.
there's no way you choose Steph over Trey.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Just give me anything that Trey doesn't do better than Steph at this point. Even assists. Steph is doing 10, 14 assists. Trey has been doing that for so long already.
Yeah. Maybe
For a
the
long
only
time.
advantage of Steph would be a little better field goal, but yeah. But
And he's been struggling in the field goals. I think what Steph does better than Trey is 3 points. He has more threes. He's been really just consistent with the more 3-pointers than Trey. But I trust that Trey will play every game since Atlanta needs him to.
yeah.
And that's what's important for me at this point.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about trying to ship my Steph for some guys.
Just to
let's
be
see.
just to clarify, I'm talking about from this point onward, week 19 to 24.
Yeah.
I would rather have Trey than Steph, but I'm not saying that for the whole season I would rather have Steph than rather have Trey. Of course, if this is week 1, I would go with Steph Curry, but we're at week 19. I just don't know if how many games Steph will rest. I just don't know that. And this assist, will it last? I don't know. I'm not sure.
If his teammates are shooting like that, I mean that's not even on Steph, right? Even if he passes the ball and his teammates are not making it, then
Yes.
he won't get those assist numbers up. All right, yeah, that's it for our quickie today. Shout out to JC, our playoffs, our JC's league. I mean JC's league, and that's the league where in the playoffs start. Coincidentally, I am first in that league, and then in our league, JC's first, with 8 games ahead of the second team.
Is he 8 games ahead of the second?
Yes, and there are 3 or 4 teams tied at the second spot, I think.
Yeah, I'm one of them. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that he's that far ahead.
He's that far ahead, 8 games ahead. So, but yeah, let's see. I'm gonna have KD back, so that I like that KD Gobert combination. I really like it. And with Hield playing better, I think hopefully I have a good chance there. All right, so that's it for our Daily Fantasy Quickie. We will see you guys again tomorrow. Good luck, week 19. Bye, guys.